Yo guys, it's the Master here, and I am back with another weekly review for this week's WWE programming. To start off, in this video there will be no inclusion of the Battleground pay-per-view. I've decided to take that out of these weekly reviews and put them into separate pay-per-view ones, and I decided to not do Battleground because it was pretty crap, to be honest. If going back to Battleground though, Great Khali coming back, bit weird. The only good match really, New Day Usos, and Natalia though winning the match, I was actually quite pleased with. I think she deserves that match at SummerSlam. Another thing I just want to address quickly is that in these episodes there's not going to be NXT or 205 Live or anything like that yet. If you would like me to include them in this video or make a separate video with them two in, just let me know and I can do them. I mean, it's just I often watch NXT and I don't really watch 205 Live, so I just don't see the need to include them in these videos because I won't have a good enough background on the material. Another thing is, starting this week, I will be making my comeback on Twitch, so you'll be able to see a lot more streams, and also there will be a giveaway which you will find on my Twitter account, and I will put more details onto that later on in the week. So without much further ado, let's get straight into the review with Monday Night Raw. So, Raw started with the segment between Kurt Angle, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, and Braun Strowman. And to be honest, I think, did I say that in one of my other review videos, that I thought that this was going to be the match for SummerSlam anyway, and I'm glad it is. I think it'll be a good Fatal 4-Way match, and I think it will. I think it'll be a good match, basically, with Lesnar in there. He'll get an offense in, and I think he probably will retain. If anyone's going to beat him, sadly, I think it's going to be Reigns, isn't it? But I really hope it's not. Even though Reigns gets a lot of stick, but I'm starting to, some of his wrestling I'm starting to like. It's just he's a bit overrated in the terms of what the WWE think. That was the starting segment. I thought Strowman looked very strong, which is good. Keeping with the strongness of his character is good. Then the second match, Elias Sampson beating Finn Balor again. Well, he didn't beat him last week, but still, it's dragged on bit too much now. 3 weeks in a row we've had is it 3 weeks or 2 weeks actually that we've had Elias Sampson taking on Finn Balor. It was probably the better of the matches they've had, and the Wyatt interference at the end hopefully is setting up the Balor Wyatt feud so Balor can move away from Elias Sampson now. Then after that we had Big Cass beating Enzo again. It's becoming more of the same thing, different week kind of scenario with Cass taking out Enzo and Big Show again. I'm all for making Big Cass seem like a star and that, but it's just making Enzo become more and more like a joke. And even Big Show at the end of his career shouldn't be really treated like this. But it is going to conclude with a match at SummerSlam, clearly. After that, we had Nia Jax beating Emma. I feel bad for Emma. Since she's come back, she's not really had a much of a chance. But it's keeping same thing with Braun Strowman, really keeping Nia on a dominant streak. It may not be a win streak because she lost to Sasha a few weeks back, but she is definitely on a dominant streak. And that senton flip there to finish the match. Wow, I didn't see that one coming, gotta say. But yeah, I thought that was good. It wasn't a long match, wasn't a technical match, but it was the dominance that we need to see from Nia. And then we had one of the bigger matches of the night, which was Bayley taking on Sasha Banks for the number one contendership. Good match, really good match. Slightly confused that Bayley won, to be honest, though. She's been treated really as a joke recently, to say the least, about her character, particularly after the kendo stick match. It wasn't very convincing at all. So, I think this will probably set up for a triple threat at SummerSlam. I think Sasha's may finally turn heel or be kind of like an in-betweener, kind of. So she'll still have that grudge against Alexa, but she's now going to have that heel heat against Bayley as well. I think that could be the way that they're going to do this. But, Bayley and Alexa could definitely put on a good match there all alone. But it's just whether they book Bayley correctly, which they haven't done recently. Then we went to the main event, which was Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose defeating the Miztourage in a 2-on-3 handicap match. It was a good match. It was good to see part of the Shield back together, a part of the Shield we haven't seen since they split up, because obviously with Rollins being a heel for so long and Ambrose being a face for so long, it has been, we just haven't seen that type of teaming between them since they were in the Shield. And then, there was Ambrose rejecting the fist bump at the end from Rollins. Maybe could be setting up an Ambrose heel turn, or maybe just making that finish where they finally actually are a proper team again, the more sweeter for the Shield fans. I don't think there's been some people have been saying that Reigns, after he finishes his feud with Strowman and the title picture, and that could get involved and they could have a proper Shield reunion. For me, I don't see that happen. And that was Raw. It was an alright show. It was definitely weak in some areas. The matches weren't incredible quality, but it was only just a bog standard episode of Raw, really, and it wasn't anything bad. It was a good one to tune in for. And then following that, last night, as I'm recording this, we had SmackDown, and, well, if you've seen the title and the thumbnail of this video, you'll know what I'm going to say next. We had the return of Chris Jericho. Now, this is why WWE need to keep returns secret, because the pop he got and the pop I had at home was just great. It's a surprise return that we couldn't see coming, because he's finished up his tour with Fozzy, but we thought usually he takes a year's break or 6 months at the least, and what has this been, 3 months since he dropped the US title? So and obviously a wrestler of Chris Jericho's quality back on the roster is always a good thing. So it's good to see him back. And then the segment which set up the triple threat for the US title at the end of the match, and Shane McMahon coming out, Owens being really unhappy about it. I thought the segment worked very well, and like I say, it was great to see Jericho back with a surprise return, which we don't see a lot of now. Then we had a repeat, really, of one of if it's fair of me saying, one of the worst matches on the card at Battleground last night. It shouldn't have been one of the worst matches by far, but Corbin versus Shinsuke Nakamura was not great. But this match, the match on SmackDown was better. It was a lot better, but it should have really been done at the pay-per-view, I think. And there was no need for Corbin to lose both, technically, because he low-blowed Shinsuke just to not technically lose at the pay-per-view, but I don't think he would have lost anything by losing at the pay-per-view. He's got the Money in the Bank. He's got he's on form at the minute. He's doing really well for himself. So I don't think him losing would have been a huge bad thing. I think Shinsuke winning a pay-per-view against Corbin would have been the smarter option. But he picks up the victory now, I guess. But they just didn't need the repeat. They could have just moved it on to something else and something better for Nakamura to do, which, well, he may be doing, as we'll see later on in the video. But the next match was Charlotte and Becky versus Lana and Tamina. I wasn't interested in this match really a lot. It was filler, really. Charlotte and Becky, good. They have good chemistry, and they could tell they're really good friends outside the ring. That's the only thing really I can say about this match. Lana has been moved up to the main roster a bit too quickly. I think she can be a good wrestler, better than Eva Marie was. That saying that, but I think she may have been moved up to the main roster in the actual good SmackDown matches way too early. And I think by the end of the match, Tamina realised that as well. But yeah, it wasn't something I was particularly interested in that match. Then we had Cena confronting Jinder. I don't know. Speaking of the Battleground title match, the Great Khali returning. I don't know why. I really don't know why. And I guess they've just kind of bumped Orton off now because he hasn't turned up on SmackDown tonight, and I don't know what they're doing with that. But so the main thing about this was Daniel Bryan setting up Cena versus Nakamura, the dream match for next week on SmackDown, which could be amazing, and that you will definitely see a video from me on the review about that, and a long part about that, because I can see that being one of the great matches on a televised show that isn't a pay-per-view. I think that is going to be a great match. Then we had Sammy and Ty beating Aiden English and Mike Kanellis. Good to see Sammy getting some wins. Good to see Ty getting some wins. But it's a real shame for Mike Kanellis. He lost at Battleground and now he's lost here again. He's not looked very convincing and looked a bit of a joke recently, which is a shame for him and Maria as well. But yeah, next thing, the Usos attacking the New Day. Heel heat again, stopping the New Day from getting, a big, their big celebrations that they do, stopping the fans from seeing that, giving them some easy heel heat. And, I think I'd be happy to see that feud continue to SummerSlam, because they had the match of the night at Battleground. It wasn't tough to beat any of the matches, to be fair, but still. And then, after that, we had the main event, which was Owens, Jericho and Styles for the US title. Perfect. One of the perfect match, and the match of the night by far, but the match of the week by far. This match gets my match of the week, hands down. There was so many good spots in it. I particularly, I enjoyed it. Styles' flawless 450 on Jericho. It's a thing of beauty, really, his 450 splash. And then also, I think, was it Styles was going for a springboard and Jericho drop kicked his legs out as he was going for it. I loved that, if I remember rightly. I'm trying to think now whether that was right, but yeah, it was something like that. But no, it was really, really good match. And Styles winning it back. Some people saying it's a bit of a hot potato, the US title. I think it's a good thing. I think it keeps the rivalry fresh going into next week for the Owens versus Styles again. I think it's a good thing. And then Owens' post-match rant, great. The annoyance that you see from Kevin Owens and that angriness really captures his character so well. And really, it was I think SmackDown this week was flawless. Apart from Becky and Charlotte versus Lana and Tamina, which I wasn't that interested in. All the other matches I thought were stellar. That ends this weekly review. Really, I thought this week was a very good week for wrestling and a very good week for storytelling. Apart from the Battleground pay-per-view. That's all really I've got left to say. These reviews will be coming more frequently. There won't just be one-offs. You'll see lots more of them. And if you have enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe to the video. And until the next time, guys, I have been the Master, and I'm out. See you guys.